everyone. Jason here, Community Director for the First Descendant. Welcome to the First Descendant's second anniversary event. It's so great to see everyone, and thanks for taking the time to be here with us. Wow, it's already been 2 years since we launched the First Descendant. So much has happened over the past 2 years. And today, we prepared various content from celebrating the second anniversary to the release of the new trailer and a look at our upcoming roadmap. Before we get into it, for our descendants sticking with us to the end, we've hidden some coupons throughout the broadcast. Let me reveal the first one right now on the screen, to Descendant Fest 6. So to Descendant Fest 6, just hit the coupon banner on the right side of our official website to go to the registration page. Enter this coupon code along with your member code, which you can find within the game, and you are done. The coupon includes gold, Kuiper shards, crystallization catalysts, and even an ultimate alignment device. So be sure to receive it. More coupons will drop throughout the broadcast, so please stay tuned all the way through the Descendant Fest 2026. All right, let's start by looking back at our journey over the past 2 years through numbers. For this part, I'll be going through the slides one by one, walking everyone through the footprints our descendants have left in Albion over the past 2 years. I was honestly a bit touched seeing how every number represents the time our players have poured in. Let's start with the big one. When adding all the time we've spent in Albion over the past 2 years, it comes out to about 29.6 billion minutes. In hours, that's roughly 494 million. In years, about 56,000 years. That's how long you'd have to be running around Albion nonstop, starting from the days when humans were painting cave walls. From the Vulgus point of view, it must have felt like a nightmare that just wouldn't end. Well, during that time, 38.25 million descendants have been acquired in Albion, and the total mission attempts 2.74 billion. So even if you launch the mission every single second nonstop, it will take you about 87 years to reach that number. And among our descendants, there is a true champion, the descendant with the longest playtime over the past 2 years, #4576. Total playtime, about 13,430 hours, or roughly 560 days. Out of the nearly 700 days we've been in service over these 2 years, spent 560 of them playing the game. #4576. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll repay that dedication by continuing to develop the First Descendant. And before we move on, 잠깐 제가 한국어로 좀 전환을 해서 이거 하기에 앞서
just a short notice for our Korean audience. We are providing Korean interpretation in our 치지직 channel. So to our players who would like to listen to the Korean translation, please log on to 치지직 and listen to our interpretation. Thank you.
Now let's move on. So we also looked at each region's numbers, and when looking at the average playtime of the top 100 in each region, first place goes to Asia with an average of about 6,670 hours, followed by North America and Europe. The firepower of our descendants really is something else. And of course, we can't leave out everyone's favorite descendants. Let's start with female descendants. What stands out is Ultimate Freyna, consistently in the top ranks across all 3 episodes. In Season 3, Episode 1, Nell took number 1. And in the most recent Season 3, Episode 3, Daya claimed number 1 with 29%. Bunny, Inez, Serena, and Haley were all evenly loved as well. All right, then shall we move on to male descendants? For male descendants, it was the era of Ajax. So in Season 3, Episode 2, Ultimate Ajax, and in Season 3, Episode 3, Ajax took the number 1 spot. In Season 3, Episode 1, Ultimate Blair was in the lead. Lepik and Ultimate Lepik, Eugen, and Jaber were also consistently loved. Really a standout performance by our dependable big brothers. And for weapons, this is probably exactly what most of you expected. Thunder Cage was #1 for 2 consecutive episodes, and the first episode, Secret Garden, held the top spot, but since then, Thunder Cage has dominated Albion, so we're kind of practically living in the Republic of Thunder Cage. And we can't forget vehicles as well. So let's see which hoverbike our descendants rode the most. And looking at the cumulative playtime by each vehicle, Vortex takes #1 with about 8.31 million hours. And in years, that's 949 years. Glide 4 and Orca have also clocked hundreds of years of playtime as well. And the total performance modified for vehicle options comes at roughly 13.26 million. You can really feel that obsession with finding the perfect setup. I guess players have been really serious about setting up their hoverbike. Well, about 28,000 players enjoy speed as they hold 3 or more max speed on boost options. And 930,000 paint was used to customize vehicles. Fast and stylish indeed. Moving on to combat data. First, total missions played over the past 2 years comes at about 2.74 billion. So even if you launch the mission every second nonstop, that would take about 87 years. And Void Abyss Intercept Colossus have been defeated at a cumulative 13.46 million times. So it's interesting to see how much stronger we've gotten just by the numbers. Now, here's a great example. Wall Crasher. It's been defeated about 2.65 million times, but the real story is in the average kill time. So in Season 3, Episode 1, it took about 3 minutes and 17 seconds. In Season 3, Episode 2, 1 minute and 25 seconds. And in the most recent Season 3, Episode 3, just 54 seconds. So it's like more than 3 times faster. Solid proof that Descendants, they are getting stronger. Now let's look at something a bit fiercer, which is Onslaught mode. About 718,000 matches have been played, and as the difficulty rises, the challenge gets fiercer. But about 92,000 Descendants have completed all the way through Wave 7 of Difficult 3, the highest difficulty. Now, we aren't done with the infographic yet, but from here, the numbers get a little astronomical. So total gold earned over the past 2 years comes to about 558 trillion. So Hypercharge reached 36 trillion, and 421 trillion of that has already been poured into research and enhancement. The biggest hoarder is Aobchoey, #3308, with about 114.5 billion gold accumulated, while the biggest spender is Card, #4272, who's burned through about 27.1 billion. So both saving and spending at a completely different scale. Along with Aobchoey and Card and all our Albion big spenders, guys, please keep accumulating gold and spending that gold. And we also have research. Total research count over the 2 years reached about 500 million. Among them, Alf, #9488, single-handedly ran, wow, that is like 43,871 research orders. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Now, let's look at Ancestors modules. About 62.1 million modules have been acquired. And here's the fun part. The number of readjustments is about 64.6 million, so which is actually higher than the number acquired. So this means that, players focused on their favorite models and readjusted them repeatedly until they got the option they wanted. Moving on to titles, there are currently 590 titles in total, and not a single Descendant has collected all of them yet. The top holder has about 565, and they are just 25 away from completion. Hey, if you're watching this broadcast, we are cheering for you to complete the set. And the figurines that fill our lounges have been popular as well. About 39.71 million have been collected, with around 7.32 million currently on display. Out of the 349 figurines released, the top collector has collected 194. That is so awesome. And finally, fashion. Let's look at the most popular female skins of last year, starting with female skins. Number one was the winning entry from the 2025 skin contest, a skin created by our descendants themselves, taking the top spot. That is truly meaningful. And following that, Summer Paradise and Sunset Cocktail were also well received with their bright looks. Rabbit Game and Lounge Underwear followed, ranking 4 and 5. Moving on to male skins, number one was Knight Rider. That signature edgy rider vibe was a real hit. The agent look of number two, I'll Be on Secret Service, was also really cool, and Cyber Warrior, Creature, and H1 Racing Suit followed with a wide range of skins that were all evenly loved. Yeah, and there you have it. That was the infographic of our past 2 years. Every single number represents the time our descendants spent in Albion and the story we've built together. Thank you again, Descendants, for being here through all of it. Now, for a meaningful moment like this, hosting it alone would be a shame. Let me bring out the two people who've been building this journey together. So let me introduce the executive producer of the First Descendant, Bumjun Lee, and our creative director,
Bumjun
Min-suk
Lee.
Chu. Come up to the stage, guys. We don't have a crowd, so I'll be cheering for them. And it looks like, yeah, this isn't our creative director here. It's a guy with the horse mask. Oh yeah, say hello to our fans, guys.
네, 안녕하세요. First Descendant producer.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bumjun Lee, executive producer of the First Descendant. Hello, Descendants. I'm Essimo.
Why is Essimo here? It is a real clue, and hey, it's been a while, since the three of us got together on a stage like this to meet with our descendants. Oh yeah, and he is here. And now that we're at the second anniversary stage, how does it feel?
네, 1주년 행사란 게 엊그제 같은데 벌써
It feels like the first anniversary was just yesterday, but here we are at year 2. I'm very thankful and emotional, though I feel a bit nervous. Now, in Korea, it's currently 9:13 a.m. and we are doing this live stream so early in the morning. And the reason why we're doing this so early is because there are a lot of live stream joining audience, so we wanted as much as people joining us as possible. And for the first time for our live stream, we are providing simultaneous interpretation. So for a Korean audience, you can tune into our 치지직 channel for Korean interpretation. Maybe we'll just go over this later on as well. And
시간 잘 재밌게 즐겨 주시길.
I hope you enjoy today's Descendant Fest. Thank you.
네, 먼저 2년 동안 즐거운 시간도 있었고
Well, first, I want to express my deepest gratitude to all the descendants who have stuck with TFD
감사 인사드립니다. 그리고 오늘
for the past 2 years. And
또 모든 계승자
thank you for
드리고요.
everyone tuning in today to today's Descendant Fest. Since you've taken your valuable time to join us, we'll make sure today's 2-year anniversary Descendant Fest is packed with exciting news and updates.
Yeah, well, we just looked back at our past 2 years through the infographic. Now it's time to talk about what is ahead. I think everyone's been waiting long enough, so let's jump right in. All right, let's begin by introducing new content for Season 4. And first thing to see is the new storyline. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, so let's get right into our trailer for the Season 4 story preview.
The weaker and more fragile a thing is, the more fiercely it bears its fangs. Your desperate struggle is nothing more than futile defiance against a predestined doom. Witness the end of your descendants as they fall, weak and broken. I shall reclaim the legacy you hold. and forge the one true path for my homeland, Clipboard. Today, I bring an end to this cruel, century-long wait. Accept your end.
เฮียเชี่ยลืมไปแล้วเรื่องของเรื่องไอ้เหี้ยคุณพวกสมองปลาทอง
Yeah, wow. I heard the subtitle for season 4 is The Great Clash, and just from the trailer, it feels like it matches the name. The atmosphere seems like Carell's going out all out offensive. A great clash, it really is approaching. So, director, what kind of story does this tell?
네, 시즌 4는
Well, season 4 finally brings the final battle against Carell to the forefront.
그동안 전선을 좁혀
Until now, Carell has been gradually closing in on the front lines, but this time he launches a direct assault on Ingress. As the subtitle The Great Clash suggests, the final showdown between Carell and humanity forms the core of this season's story. And as the final battle begins, a never-before-seen supermassive Vulgus warship appears directly above the skies of Albion. To defend Ingress from Carell's onslaught, Descendants must infiltrate the heart of this massive enemy warship and confront Carell head-on.
So we're finally bringing an end to Carell, a massive warship pushing right up to Albion's doorstep. The scale alone is already living up to the name, The Great Clash.
네, 그리고
Right. And as this final battle unfolds, Season 4 will also begin to answer another lingering question. What exactly were Aemon and the Magisters plotting behind the scenes? Will the Descendants be able to stop Carell and protect Ingress? To see how this final battle comes to an end, we hope you'll experience Season 4 firsthand.
Wow, Carell's final march. So along with the hidden intentions of Aemon and the Magister, the story is shaping up to be massive. And one more thing I wanted to ask. In today's story trailer, we saw the Vulgus invading right at Albion's front gates. So is that something we'll actually be able to play through?
네, 그렇습니다.
Yes, that's right. Once the Season 4 story begins, the atmosphere in Albion will shift. As part of the story, you'll also experience a dungeon set in Albion, as well as a laboratory left in ruins brought on by Carell's full-scale offensive. Now, in the trailer, Carell was very cool. So I don't want him to go. I'm not ready to let him go yet.
네, 시즌 4에서 직접
Yes.
해보시길 바랍니다.
I hope you guys play Season 4.
I'm really already looking forward to the battle in Albion. And since we talked about the Great Clash, this feels like the perfect timing to drop the second coupon named after the Season 4 subtitle, The Great Clash. The code is Great Clash. Yeah, so this one includes a Transcendent alignment device and a Vulgus bio data chip. So go to the coupon banner on the right side of our official website, enter the coupon code and your member code. Don't miss out on this. All right, let's see when and how these stories unfold, starting with the roadmap for the second half of 2026. Let me start with the big picture. So here's the roadmap of updates we've planned for the second half of 2026, organized by each month. So producer, director, could you walk us through it?
20 ออกัสมีอะไรบ้าง มีเมนสตอรี่ The Great Cat นะครับ ไอ้ชื่อมันคิดแล้วเหรอวะ มันคิดมาแล้วล่ะ Mega Dungeon คาเรลมัตชิปแล้วก็มีลาเว่นมาลาเว่นตัวใหม่เอ้าเฟน่าอ๋อเฟน่าอยู่เดือน10ทิปผายแล้วไอสัตว์เฮียกูเข้าใจผิดจริงๆด้วยไอ้กูเข้าใจผิดมาตลอดว่าเฟน่าจะมาวันที่20นี้ก็คือมันมาแค่ลาเว่นไหม
Month by month. So where should we start?
네. 7월부터 보겠습니다.
Yeah, let's start with July.
7월에는 요격전
We have an update focused on improving void intercept, and I'll share more details in a moment.
มันแปลว่าการประทะครั้งใหญ่ใช่
네 일정만 먼저
Right,
말씀.
to give you the timeline, the update will drop on July 15th.
ชื่อแม่งเหมือนไม่ได้คิดอะไอ้แบบ
네, 그리고 8월 20일에 드디어
The
And
Great Cat.
finally, Season 4
Yeah,
officially launches on August
มันคลิ้น
20th.
อะกินสำหรับผม
And
อะ
Season 4 brings the story's big endgame,
메가 던전.
and we're also unveiling brand new content like Mega Dungeon and Trial Mode.
실험 모드와 함께 또 그리고 게임
And we're also adding Transcendent weapons
무기도
for your long-term gameplay goals.
그리고 많은 분들이 기다리고
And a long-awaited new Descendant Raven will finally drop this August.
Yeah, quite a lot of things are coming in August. Then what about September?
9월에는
Coming up in September, Ultimate Haley will be ready for action.
그리고 최상위 던전 콘텐츠
And we're also
อัลติเมทแฮร์รี่มาก่อนเฟน่านะ มาเดือน9กลางเดือน
adding a new highest difficulty dungeon content, Cradle of Evolution.
네 그리고 9월에는 서비스 운영 면에서
September also brings major QOL updates.
초월 무기 거래가
Transcendent weapons trading goes live in September.
비대면으로 거래할 수
And
있고
we're
ก็คือมันมาให้ฟาร์มก่อนแล้วมันจะเปิดให้เทรดทีหลังนะเทรดคือมันมาให้ฟาร์มตอนช่วงปลายเดือนสิงหาใช่ไหมอาวุธใหม่อ่ะแล้วมันก็ให้เทรดตอนเดือนกันยา
introducing lounge storage trading to enable remote trading.
แล้วก็แล้ว storage trade เนี่ยน่าจะเป็นตลาดกลาง หมายถึงว่าตลาดที่มึงให้มึงเข้าไปตั้งร้านอะออนไลน์อะไอ้เหี้ยแม่งหนักจริงวะออนไลน์เหรอออนไลน์เหรอพี่
추후에 초월 무기 소개.
Now more details will be shared in the
แล้ว
upcoming
มาตั้ง
Transcendent
ร้าน
weapons
ออฟไลน์ได้ไหม
Great, we'll come back to
อยากรู้
trading
ตรงนี้
a bit later. Then what about November and December?
네, 11월에는 에피소드
In November, we'll unveil Monet, a new Descendant for episode 2. And also
โมเน็ตโนเวมเบอร์มึงจะทำทันไหมเนี่ยน้อง สิงหากันยาตุลาพฤศจิกา4 เดือน ไอ้เหี้ยเอ้ยเดี๋ยวผมมาแป๊บนึง พอดีปวดฉี่ครับแป๊บนึง ประหลาดไม่แต่มันขายได้เฉพาะแวปพอนใหม่กับสติ๊กเกอร์AM มาดิมันไม่ได้ขายได้ทุกอย่างผมไม่อยากให้มันเทรดได้ทุกอย่างมากเลยผมอยากเอาขยะออกจากตัวผมมากเลยแล้วให้ผู้เล่นใหม่แม่งซื้อไปอะตรงๆนะเอาตรงๆแล้วตอนนี้แบบขยะล้นตัวมากขยะทุกอย่างมันเกินควบคุมไปแล้วพี่เฮียมันไม่รู้จะไปทำอะไรอะไปต่อเลย
So get ready for another highest difficulty dungeon, Hinosa's Sanctuary.
มันมีโมเน็ตมารออีกตัวนั่นน่ะ November แต่มันยังไม่ได้ประกาศวันเห็นปะ
are new
TBD
higher
อยู่
tier dungeons that scale up from Axion infiltration operations. To enhance replayability, both dungeons feature more dynamic variables, making everyone fresh. In December, Ultimate Jable will arrive alongside Coliseum A, a brand new game mode
แล้ว
where
สิ้
you
น
can
ปี
play as
มี
a
Ultimate
process.
Jable เฮีย
Just one
ขยัน
thing,
สัตว์
among the items
ขยัน
I
อะไร
just
ตอนนี้วะ
mentioned, some are being like covered in detail today, right?
네, 맞습니다.
That's right.
12개의 승자인
So
모네와
today,
12월 업데이트
we'll give you a preview of November's new Descendant Monet, December's Ultimate Jaber, the Cradle of Evolution, and the Hinosa's Sanctuary.
대부 라이브에서
Please look out for more details in future dev lives.
오늘 별도로 시간을 할애해서
So the core features we're diving into today are Void Intercept Battle Extreme, Mega Dungeon, new Descendant Raven, Transcendent Weapons, Trial Mode, new Ultimate Haley, and Coliseum A.
네, 그리고 한 가지만
And one more note.
드리면요. 이 로드맵은
So this roadmap highlights major content drops, but the actual update schedule features even more monthly additions.
예정입니다. 그리고 시즌 4 에피소드
And we'll share the detailed roadmap for Season 4, Episode 1 in our August Dev Live.
Yeah, so to summarize, Season 4 coming on August 20th is a big inflection point. And from there, content keeps rolling in steadily throughout the second half of the year. All right, now let's take a look at Void Intercept improvements coming in July, the Void Intercept Battle Extreme. Yeah, so coming in July is the Void Intercept
Extreme มาแล้วก็
Extreme, and Void
โอเค
Intercept
อยู่นะ
has
ผม
been
ว่า
one
มัน
of
เล่น
the
สนุกขึ้นนะล่า
iconic
บอส
pieces
นะ
of content in the First Descendant. For Descendants who've been with us for a long time, I think they will be curious about how the Void Intercept is changing. So, Director, could you elaborate on this?
네. 요격전 극한 모드는 시즌 3
So the Void Intercept Battle Extreme is the final update of Season 3, designed to elevate the Intercept experience. So it combines hard Void Intercept with Void Abyss into a single mode containing multiple difficulty tiers.
특히
And
기존에는 심층부와
The difficulty gap between Void Abyss Normal and Challenge was quite significant.
촘촘하게
So we've made the progression much smoother while also opening up a difficulty level beyond challenge to push your limits.
그리고 기존의 어려움 요격전의 보상
And rewards from the old hard void intercepts are now moved to other content,
어려움 요격전은
turning it into a true gateway to extreme mode.
그리고 심층부에서 하시던
And the farming you used to do in Void Abyss will be fully integrated into this new mode.
네, 정리하자면 흩어져 있던
So basically, this update merges hard void and void abyss intercepts into a single category under extreme mode.
기존 요격전과 어떻게
So how exactly does extreme mode differ from the traditional intercept battles?
네, 극한 모드의 최종 단계에서는
In extreme mode,
임계점을 조합
players can actually customize the difficulty by mixing and matching critical points.
나오고 있죠.
As you can see from the screen,
네, 임계점은 수십 종의 선택지를
we
조합
offer dozens of options,
강화하거나
and you can choose to buff the Colossus or add new penalties to yourself.
임계점 수치가 높아질수록
So naturally, higher critical points mean better farming efficiency.
도전을 원하시는
So unless you're looking for the ultimate challenge, the key is finding that sweet spot between farming efficiency and clear time.
입니다.
그럼 이제 계승자님들 입장에서는
So as for Descendants, it's not just about blindly mixing out your critical points. The key is finding the combination that fits your specific build.
네, 저희가
Yes, exactly. That's where the real fun kicks in.
자신의 빌드에
So players are encouraged to discover the optimal critical point for their build.
어떤 인계점
It's all about finding the perfect critical point to get the highest score and choosing the exact descendant and weapon to crush it.
계승자님들의 빌드를
So ultimately, it's a stage designed to test your builds.
Then could you walk us through on how the rewards are used and what the release schedule looks like?
극한 모드에서 파밍을
So
하시면
farming extreme mode rewards you with exclusive currency similar to the Void Abyss Intercept.
전용
And you
상점
can spend this currency in a dedicated seasonal shop to buy limited items.
네, 그 우선 일정 얘기 드리면
Alright, as for the timeline, the extreme mode for Void Intercept battles will launch in beta on July 15th.
베타라고 제가 말씀을 드렸지만
Even as a beta, it features leaderboards
상시
and it will remain as a permanent content.
베타 기간 동안에 데이터
And during this period, we'll monitor data to fine-tune the balance
정식으로
and ensure a stable settlement.
목표입니다.
So to summarize, Hard Void Intercept and Void Abyss Intercept are being merged into Void Intercept Extreme, and players can pick critical points while securing efficiency and rewards. And everyone can play it starting July 15th. All right, then, let's move on to Season 4's main lineup of content. And next up, content that will mark the grand finale of Season 4's story is the Mega Dungeon. Just from the name Mega, the scale sounds substantial. So, Director, what is the Mega Dungeon?
네, 메가 던전은
Yes, the Mega Dungeon serves
대단원을
as a grand finale to Kara's storyline. It features the ultimate battle to take down Kara after all this build-up, making a massive milestone for the game's lore.
So, how does it differ from existing infiltration operations?
가장 큰 차이는
Well,
경험
the main difference is experience itself.
작전이 반복 플레이
Infiltration operations are built for repeatable play, whereas the Mega Dungeon highlights cinematic storytelling to give you that unforgettable first clear.
규모도
And the scale is massive too. We're talking longer paths, massive environments, and non-stop combat. It's not just about throwing more monsters at you. The real fun
요소와
is how the level design and interactive mechanics tie together.
그리고 레벨의
And using the level's interactive elements
적을 더 효율적
lets you wipe out enemies more efficiently.
다수의 보스급 지휘
So from fighting multiple boss level commanders to the final battle, it's a non-stop thrilling build-up.
특히 카렐의 최종
And Karel's final battle has some massive, mind-blowing presentations that TFT has never seen before. So it's so heavy on visuals, the more I explain, the more I'll spoil it.
그 내용
So I cannot say too much now, and I recommend you experiencing it for yourself when Season 4 drops.
That makes me even more curious. So, what about the difficulty and rewards?
메가 던전은 고반복 컨텐츠라기보다
So instead of being designed for high repeatability, Mega Dungeon is massive narrative-driven content with
좀더긴 콘텐츠
with longer play time.
일반과 어려움 두
So
가지
it features normal and hard difficulties,
스토리는 일반에서
and the story unfolds in normal difficulty.
제한적으로 여기서도 전용 재화를
And we're setting up a reward system where you can farm exclusive currency and trade it for items.
So, since it marks the grand finale of the story, I heard there's a special event being prepared to celebrate it.
เป็นลองเทคนะเมกาดันเจียน
정복이란
เล่นแบบ
Yes, we're
ยาว
preparing a time-limited event called Conquest to
ๆ แล้ว
celebrate
รี
the
วอร์ดน่าจะ
grand finale
คุ้ม
of
ค่า
our
กับเว
story.
ลาละ
And
มั้ง
during this event, a
ยังไม่มั่นใจเรื่องนี้เลยว่ะ
exclusive difficulty will open up. So even the top-tier descendants will need to optimize your builds for survivability.
That sounds quite challenging. So, who gets the rewards and when does it kick off?
네, 먼저 어떤 이벤트냐면 이벤트 기간 동안에
So-
이제 가장 빠른 클리어 기록을 달성한
We'll be rewarding the fastest speedrunners in both solo and party play, as well as anyone who manages to clear it even once.
다만 이제 파티 스피드
Please note that the solo and party speedrun events will run on separate schedules.
그리고 정복 이벤트 자체
And the Conquest event is kicking off in early September, about 2 weeks after Season 4 launches.
I guess there's a reason it starts 2 weeks after the dungeon launches and not right away.
네, 맞습니다.
That's right.
아시는 것처럼 이제 퍼스트
And as you all know, TFD is all about grinding and optimizing your build.
그 2주 동안
So that 2-week gap is there for you to get ready.
신규 계승
You can unlock a new Descendant and test the upcoming Transcendent weapons,
보시고 메가 던전
and also learn the hard mode mechanics of Mega Dungeon. So get yourself fully prepared and then take on the Conquest Challenge.
이 이벤트에 대한
ก็
구체적인
คือมี
Now,
Conquest
specific
Challenge
details on
ด้วย
reward and rewards
เป็น
will be
เป็น
announced
เป็นอันที่
later.
ยากกว่าฮาร์ด
So the Mega Dungeon is a
จะมาหลัง
dungeon where players experience the grand finale of Season 4
2
story
วีค
with
หลังจาก
overwhelming
ซีซั่น4ดรอป
staging, and
โอเค
players will be able to meet it alongside the Season 4
นี่แปลว่า
update
คอนเทนต์มัน
on
แน่นๆ อยู่
August
นะไอ้เหี้ย
20th.
ซีซั่น
The-
4
and
เนี่ย
the Conquest event kicks off
ทำไมมึงไม่
2
ทำตั้งแต่
weeks
ซีซั่น
after
1
that.
ไว้สัตว์คอนเทนต์แน่นๆแบบเนี้ย
All right, finally, something many
จุดรู้วะ
descendants have
นี่
been
ถ้า
waiting
ทำป่าน
for.
นี้
Let
หลาย
us
ๆ คนไม่ยัง
introduce
คง
the
อยู่
new
กับเกมอะ
descendant, Raven.
ยกเว้นไอ้พวกเล่น Warframe อะพวก Warframe มันติดเล่นเกม
Wow,
ง่าย
you
ๆ
know,
เว้ย
just from the first
ไม่ได้ดูถูกนะ
impression,
แต่แบบ
the vibe is a bit
ไอ้เหี้ย
different,
Warframe มันเป็นเหมือน
mature,
hero
with a
shooter อะ
darker feel. So
เหี้ย
director,
แม่ง
could
ท
you
ำตัว
talk
เม
about
ตาตัวหนึ่ง
Raven
แม่ง
in more
ไถ
detail?
ด้านได้ทุกด้าน
네네. 레이브는 저희가
Yes, of course.
다이아
Well, Raven is our first new descendant since Daya. So it's been a while, and we know you've been waiting.
보셨는데요. 앞으로는
So moving forward, we'll release one new descendant per episode, just as before.
첫 주자는
And Raven leads the charge for season 4.
อ่ะเลเว่น
그리고 지금 방송 보시는
อี
분들께서
กา
And
ด
the
성계승자도 여쭤보시더라고요. 네.
there was a question about male descendants from our audience.
할 예정이어서요.
We have that in our longer term roadmap, but today,
집중해 주시면 좋을 것
please focus on Raven.
같아요. 네.
มัน
비주얼
บอกว่า
보시면
ไอ้เหี้ยมัน
As you
มี
can see from
เม
the
ล
screen,
นะ
the
แต่
visual
วันนี้ไม่ใช่วันของ
is more mature
ตัว
and
ผู้ชาย
dark, as
มึง
Jason
โฟกัสเลเว่น
mentioned.
นะ
레이븐의
놈.
And this design
Sào-sào.
ties directly into her backstory.
Yeah, I'm curious about that backstory. So who is Raven? Who is she?
레이븐은 알비온의 뒷골목을
Well, yes, Raven was a guild boss who ruled Albion's back streets.
레이븐을
And people often refer to her as the conductor.
하지만 실제
It might sound fancy, but in
ผม
reality,
ฟาร์
she
มเอา
functions more like a
โอ้ฟาร์มเอา
fixer.
ดีนุ่มอย่าซื้อเลย
In her late
จะได้
30s.
เวลาได้น้องมามันจะได้แบบ
You know,
โอ้ยเหี้ยกูได้น้องแล้ววะ
Descendants
อะไรอย่างงี้เข้าใจปะ
덕분에
Much
อย่าซื้อเลย
younger than they are.
ถ้า
Thanks
ซื้อ
to the
คุณ
power
จะ
of
เสีย
market,
ประ
just
สบ
like
การณ์ตรงนั้น
Ray.
ไป
Raven is no exception.
그리고
ไม่แนะนำให้ซื้อนะ
And
เอาตรง
also, here's
ๆต่อให้
another
เป็นผู้เล่นใหม่
interesting
หรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ย
story. Raven's
ผมอยากให้
past
ฟาร์ม
is deeply
ฟาร์ม
tied
แล้ว
to
ได้
VS's childhood.
ได้ซึ่งตัวละครมาแล้วมันจะแบบ
So we'll let
โอ้
you
ย
find
ตัวนี้
out
แม่ง
how
กว่า
the
จะฟาร์มได้อะไรอย่าง
connection
เงี้ยเข้าใจปะ
unfolds in the game.
มันจะมีความรู้สึกนี้อยู่แล้วก็จะได้ทนเล่น
so
มัน
a
นาน
story tied to VS,
Oi.
Narratives connected to existing
ตัวมันจะไม่
characters
เก่ง
are
แบบเนวอะ
mostly received
ๆเดี๋ยวทุกวัน
well.
นี้ผมก็ยังเล่นอยู่นะแบบ
For the most
ไม่ได้
important
ไม่ได้เล่นใน
part,
สตรีม
what
หรอกแต่
about
ก็ยังเล่นอยู่
Raven's combat
แบบว่า
style?
บางทีก็เอาบิวใส่ปืนไปยิง
레이븐은 산탄총과
ทั้งๆที่มันไม่
Raven
มี
is
อ
a
อโต้รีโหลด
gun-focused
หรืออะไรก็
descendant
ตาม
who has a great synergy with shotguns.
ก็ยังไปยิงอยู่
더블 배럴 샷
As you can see, she's holding this double barrel shotgun.
더블 배럴
Her
샷건
unique skill weapon is a
Double
double
barrel
barrel
shotgun
shotgun.
하나 더
남
And
รื่อง
to
ครับ
add to her combat style, she commons crow-like form to support her in battle.
위치를 전환하면서
She's highly
ก็
mobile,
คือมี
meaning
อี
she
กา
shifts
มาช่วย
positions
ระหว่าง
fast
ระหว่าง
to
แบ
take
ท
the
เทิล
upper hand.
ระหว่างสู้อยู่
So summoning crows, that really lives
เป็น
up to the
ซัมมอนเนอ
name.
ร์
But when you say it has
Summoner
like
ใช้
a great synergy
shotgun
with shotguns, what exactly does
Okay.
that mean?
레이븐이 메커니즘이
Raven's mechanics scale directly with a weapon's pellet count.
있어요. 그래서 다양한 산탄
It makes it incredibly fun to experiment with different shotguns. So depending on which shotgun you use or choose and how you tune your build will allow you to enjoy a
การเล่น
variety of
แตกต่างไป
playstyles.
ระหว่าง
네,
ช็อตกันแต่ละอัน
선택량에 비례한다면
เรื่อง
혹시
ครับ
망쳐
Well, if she scales with pellet count, I wonder how she would pair with weapons like hammer and anvil.
듣자마자 벌써부터
I bet players are already theory crafting their builds as we speak.
네, 좋은 포인트.
That's a great catch.
포인트 맞아요?
Is it?
좋은
좋은
포인트죠.
질문.
Yes, yes. Was a great question.
레이븐은 명중한 산탄
So
แม่ง
Raven's
ถามว่าไอ้เหี้ยแล้ว
mechanics deal
คน
extra
ไม่ไป
damage
ใช้
based
hammer
on
and
how
anvil
many
กันหมด
pellets
ละ
hit. Plus, she has damage transfer mechanics. So weapons with high pellet count and fast fire rates will be a huge advantage. For ultimate
ก็คือ
shotguns,
산탄량이
ควรไปใช้
Exterior or
เดฟอยากให้เราใช้ช็อตกันที่ยิง
would
ไว
create
ๆมากกว่า
amazing
นะ
synergies.
그래서 다양한
이게
산탄총으로
So it's going to be a lot of fun
Hammer and
finding your
anvil
own
หมด
perfect
ยิงธรรมดามันก็
combination
ยิง
with
ไว
different
อยู่แล้วปะ
shotguns.
แต่เหมือนอยากให้ไปเล่นอีก
โอ้
ปืนมากกว่า
เนี่ย
ไอ้
นี่ก็น้อง
ปืนอะไรนะ
Alright.
ตัว
Speaking of Raven,
또 E.
let's take a look at her premium skin.
네. 레이븐의 기본 스타일이 약간
Her
พรีเมียมส
base
กินแม่ง
look
สวยอยู่อันเนี้ย
has
แปลก
that
ๆก็ว่าอาจจะโดนว่ะ
charismatic, dark, fixer vibe.
프리미엄 스킨은
And this one, the premium skin, is designed with a witch-like theme.
까마귀를 소환하는 레이븐
And it goes perfectly with her combat style of summoning cross.
디자인을 해보았습니다.
Yeah, it really looks like it fits her well. So we'll show her skills during our August Dev Live. For today, we just showed her a bit so that players can assume the concept of Raven. And I am already excited. So
คือไลน์นี้
Raven
มัน
is a
โช
new
ว์
descendant
แค่คอนเซ็
coming
ปต์
out
เฉ
in
ย
a while since Daya. Raven is the conductor of
แล้วมันจะ
Albion
ไป
with a
โชว์
narrative
อีกที
tied
ต
to
อน
Fiesta and
วันที่
fights with
18
shotguns
ก็ใกล้
and
ละ
summons crows. Be sure to meet her in Season 4 on August 20th. Now, let's move on to the new weapon system that will make our descendants even stronger,
ตรง
which
นี้แหละที่
is
ผมพลาด
transcendent
ตรงนี้ผมพลา
weapons.
ดเยอะเลยเนี่ย เรื่องอาวุธใหม่อะ
네, 그 넘어가시기 전에 네, 좀
Before we move on,
궁금했는데 이제 반응이
we wanted to see how our audience joining us are reacting, and I think everyone's pretty excited. Someone said that it's a different version, a dark version of Serena. So thank you for your interest and excitement. So I hope that the dev team does a great job doing finishing the last touches. So
좀 신경 쓰고 있는 부분이
and Raven, for Raven,
적으로요. 네.
we are focusing on certain points on her looks.
언급하기는 조금 곤란한 내용인가요?
Should we not give us a spoiler to our live streamers? Well, it's no secret, but compared to Serena, she's gonna be a little bit.
있는 거잖아요.
네, 알겠습니다.
She's gonna have distinct characteristics. I'll put it at that. So I hope you guys do a great job finishing her up.
And it's not just Raven. We're looking at transcendent weapons, which is something we should also look forward to. So transcendent weapons, yeah, they were flagged on the roadmap as a long-term gameplay goal. So director, how many transcendent weapons are
พอด
being
พอด
added?
พอดอามิดอามิดเนี่ยเป็นปืนยิงแบบลูกระเบิด แล้วระเบิดมันจะไดเรกเอมเพลเลอร์การ์ดก็คือกิงการ์ดแลนด์แบบอัปเกรดมาริเชียสนี่ก็มาเรวแลนด์ใช่ไหมสปาร์กิ้งนี่ปืนประจำตัวธาตุสายฟ้าไนท์แมร์ประจำตัวธาตุพิษฟอสประจำตัวธาตุน้ำแข็งวอลคานิกประจำตัวธาตุไฟแล้วก็เป็นลูกซองที่เป็นอันริชสตอมเคสก็มาจากทันเดอร์เคสแล้วก็เรนกิ้งเป็นจากเพชซิ่งไลท์แล้วก็ AR อันนี้ ATR อันนี้เป็นปืนประจำธาตุนอนที่มันสปอยวันนี้มานะที่นั่งดูเมื่อ
네,
ช่วง
총 11종의 초월
ช่วงผม
무기가
ไลฟ์รอบแรกของ
A
วัน
total of 11 transcendent weapons will be added with the August update. Looking at the lineup, some of them are upgraded versions of pre-existing ultimate weapons. Now, one example is Storm Cage, which is the transcendent version of Thunder Cage. Now, these weapons feature different designs from their ultimate weapon counterparts with effects that also set them apart. So they don't have these same effects, so no worries. And in addition, new transcendent weapons with completely new unique abilities will also be added.
저기 맨 위에
I think you could see them on the screen. Now, Armis is a brand new weapon.
또 사실 듣자마자 걱정했어요.
Oh, I did worry after hearing what you said, because Storm Cage and Thunder Cage.
아닙니다. 성이 있습니다.
You know, what if it's similar to the pre-existing weapons? I was kind of worried, but
그러니까 저도 좀 지켜보도록 하겠습니다.
so I think there might be some concerns, but so we'll see how this unfolds.
본론으로 좀 돌아가 보겠습니다.
So going back on track.
8월 20일에 11종이 한 번에 다 추가가 됐.
Now on August 20th, with 11 weapons landing at once.
마스터리 랭크
That should also give us a pretty nice amount of mastery rank XP, right?
더디거든요.
네, 많이 추가돼서 좋으시죠? 네, 다들
I'm sure everyone's excited about the new additions
있잖아요.
because you can increase your mastery rank.
그래서 시즌 8월 22일에
So on August 20th, with the 11 new weapons
네,
and new
ทำทันเดอร์
descendants,
เคก่อนเลย สต็อปเคส
you can raise your
Wait, sorry.
mastery rank all the way up to 36.
그리고 초월 무기의 진짜 핵심
Now here's the real thing.
바로 품질
The core of transcendent weapons lies elsewhere, which is the concept of quality.
Quality. So, how does quality apply to our weapons?
초월 무기는 이 저마다
Well, every transcendent weapon has its own quality, and that quality determines the weapon's performance. The more difficult content you play, the higher the quality of the weapons you can farm.
한 가지 중요한 점
Now, one important thing to note is that the more you farm, the minimum quality you can obtain becomes higher.
일종의
You can think of it as kind of a minimum quality guarantee system.
ก็คือมีระบบการันตีคุณภาพ
잘 생소하잖아요. 저희
คือมึงต้องเอาปืนไปฟาร์มมอนแล้วเพื่อเก็บคุณภาพอย่างนี้อ่ะ
분들 입장에서 봤을 때는
So from the player's perspective, the more you farm,
소위 이제 꽝이라고 할
the
수
lower their chances of getting a bad roll.
조금 성능을
Since the lower bound on the quality that determines performance keeps rising.
결정하는데 이게 품질의 하한선이 계속 올라가니까 꽝을 뽑을 확률이 줄어.
So the important thing is that it lowers the chances of getting a bad roll. But what exactly improves when the quality is higher?
네, 먼저 쉽게 설명해 주셔서 감사드립니다.
Well, thank you for putting that in more easier terms.
네, 먼저 초월 무기는
First, transcendent weapons have transcendent abilities and sub-abilities.
과 수치는
The values of the transcendent ability effects are assigned randomly.
보시는 것처럼
And as you can see on the screen,
게이지가 보이죠.
you can see the gauge of the transcendent ability.
랜덤하게 배정.
Now, these three types of abilities are assigned randomly,
품질이 작용을 하는데요.
and this is where quality comes into play.
랜덤하게
The higher the quality,
수치의 총
the higher the total value of randomly assigned stats.
합성인 아르미스로
Now, let's take the new assault rifle Armis as an example.
능력은
Armis has 3 unique abilities, which are interception missile, small warhead rocket, and missile fragment effect.
요격 미사일이
Interception missile automatically fires missile rounds at multiple enemies.
택티컬해 보이는 저 총열에서
Now, that it looks kind of tactical. So if the interception missile score is high,
미사일의 점수가 높은 아르미스는
the weapon becomes well suited for dealing with multiple enemies.
탄두 로켓은
Meanwhile, the small warhead rocket
범위 피해를 입히는
deals area damage around a single target. An Armis with a high small warhead rocket score becomes specialized for single target damage and damage within a small area. And if the missile fragment effect score is high, the ricochet damage increases. So depending on how the scores of these 3 unique effects are combined, even the same Armis can become specialized for single target damage or for AoE damage.
그런 시스템입니다.
그러니까 예를 들면
So even with the same transcendent storm cage, you can end up with weapons that have completely different characteristics, right? And these sub-abilities also add to that weapon diversity.
네, 초월 무기에는 두
Right. Transcendent weapons are granted with 2 sub-abilities. These abilities affect the weapon stats similar to augmentation cores, and there are 3 types. One type increases
단일
a
스탯,
single stat.
또 하나는
Now another increases 2 stats at once.
마지막은
And the last type is a trade-off type, which comes with certain penalties but provides a greater stat increase in return.
So with sub abilities, I think we'll have
นี่ต้อง
more
มาว่ะ ไม่
various
เข้าใจ
weapon
ว่ะ
builds. Then
ไม่เข้าใจเลย
how are these sub abilities determined?
คือยังไง
무기를
มัน
When
มัน
you
ได้อย่าง
obtain a
เสียอย่าง
weapon,
เหรอ
the types of sub abilities are determined
มันได้
randomly,
ทั้งคู่ได้ไหมอะ
파밍을 하는 것이고 값은
and this is what you farm, but the values are fixed. Now, simply put, it's a question of which core gets attached. For example, a 20% fire rate core or a 20% movement speed score. So, depending on the combination, the weapon's core characteristics can change significantly.
처를 찾는 그런 재미가
So, players will be able to enjoy farming and experimenting with a wide variety of combinations.
Then, are transcendent weapons something just limited to veteran players? Because, some players, I think they might be worried about this becoming new entry barriers.
초월 무기는 대부분의
Transcendent weapons can be farmed from most content, and they can also be
ฟาร์ม
obtained
ได้
from
หลาย
lower
คอ
level
นเทน
content.
ต์
So descendants who start TFD in Season 4 can begin their progression centered on transcendent weapons.
그러다 보니
So because of that,
마스터리
unless your goal is to raise your mastery rank, the need to keep developing your pre-existing ultimate weapons will naturally become lower. So transcendent weapons will become the new core pillar of progression going forward.
Okay, I guess that's why you called it a long-term goal. But if it's a weapon players can farm like this, I think they will be curious about trading as well.
네. 초월 무기 거래는
Right, trading for transcendent firearms is scheduled to begin after the September update.
무기를
You'll also
네,
be able
딸랑.
to buy and sell weapons,
September.
transcendent weapons, through one-on-one trading, just like now. And we will also introduce a new trading method called lounge storage trading.
Lounge storage trading. Yeah, we've been talking about that a lot. So how does it differ from the current trading method?
네. 판매자와
This is a remote trading method where the seller and buyer do not have to meet directly.
이름에서
As the name suggests, the buyer visits the seller's lounge and purchases a transcendent weapon or ancestor's model there. Since both players do not have to log in at the same time, like as it is now, it'll be much more convenient to use. In line with this, the existing web trade market will also change into a system that facilitates lounge storage trading.
Great. So 11 transcendent weapons are being updated with the August update. So quality drives performance, and the goal is for players to farm unique and sub abilities to complete the
เอ๊ะมัน
weapons.
มันต้องมีคนไปแกะเมตา
Trading
เว้ย
opens in
ฟาร์ม
September with
อาวุธ
new
แดง
lounge
ยังไงให้
storage
ไว
trading. So please look forward to that. Now, let's move on to the new game mode that players can farm these transcendent weapons, which is trial mode.
ไอ้ส่วนใหญ่
And
ก็
so
อยู่ใน
next up is a
ตา
new
ย
game
หมด
mode
วะ
being added in
Trial.
it is trials. So director, what is trials?
네. 실현 모드는
Trial mode is a mission where players face ever greater challenges through repeated choices and progression.
플레이어는 전
Throughout each run, players strengthen their abilities by selecting from a variety of options during combat and overcome increasingly difficult challenges.
ไอ้กล้องมันซูม
So
ให้เองวะ
enemies they get stronger,
Yuti.
players get stronger. This
Ya zoomให้เอง
it's
ทำไม
kind of
อะ
like an endless climb. that
จะ
choice
ซูม
system
ทำไมเนี่ย
seems to be the core of this, right?
네. 일단
에이,
완전히
예.
무한 모드는
กูนั่งยกขาอยู่
This is
ดี
not
ๆเฮียแม่
a
งซูม
fully
ไว้กู
endless mode. There is an end to it.
아니요.
자, 뭘 아니라고요?
완전히 아니지만
It's not a completely endless mode,
플레이어분들의 세트
but there is an end point. But it is definitely a challenging mode where players will have to stop somewhere along the way depending on their build and skill level.
하지만 플레이어분들은 막판을 깨실 거라고 저는
I think a lot of our players will get to the end level.
네. 그리고 핵심은 가변 코드라는
And the key here is the choice system called variable code.
이해가 빠를 것
It may be easier to understand if you think of the existing onslaught mode.
더 자주
With variable code, players will be making more choices more frequently than in onslaught mode, and as a result, they can grow to an even more powerful level. In addition to stat growth, variable code also adds a variety of effects. For example, you can create unconventional builds with effects like Death Stroke, which instantly kills enemies below a certain HP threshold, or Towing Fire, which pulls enemies with aimed fire.
모드와의 차이점.
So we focus on offering more varied, interesting ways to set up your build.
다양하고 다양한 선택지를 통해서 플레이어의 빌드를 이렇게 점점 빌드업해.
So players can build their build up and challenge themselves more. This is what we focused on.
어려운 강함.
So you can think of this as a mode where players can fully enjoy the power fantasy of becoming a powerful descendant that goes beyond their current max potential and reaches level of strength like never before.
Yeah, that power fantasy really lands. But, content like this, it often ends up being a party just for the top tier players. So what about entry barriers?
아주 좋은 질문이셨습니다.
That's a very great question.
이제 그 반대인데요.
It's actually the opposite. We put a lot of thought into this part. Trial mode can be played in fairly early stages.
게임의 메인 시나리오를 클리어하고
If you have
진입을 하게 되면
entered hard difficulty after clearing the scenario part, you can jump right in. And from that point on,
가능합니다.
you can play right away.
쉬었다가
So for descendants who have been away for a while and are returning in season 4, we would like to recommend trying trial mode first when you come back.
Oh, yeah, great. Perfect for returning players. But wouldn't, like lower level players whose builds aren't complete yet be at a disadvantage?
네, 그래서 저레벨 계승자.
Right, that's why we prepared a feature for lower level descendants, which is a rotation build. You can see this on the screen. This is the build test.
빌드입니다. 네, 로테이션 빌드로.
Now, with rotation build,
트리거 모듈까지 세팅된 완.
players will be able to enjoy trial mode with fully completed builds, including trigger modules that rotate on a regular basis. So in other words,
계승자님들이
for returning descendants,
하지 않은 계승자를
before
완성형
farming everything yourself, you'll be able to get an early feel for what a fully built descendant feels like.
가벼운 코드
You'll be able to enjoy trial mode with variable code using these rotation builds.
Yeah, that's great because, giving players that taste of a complete version of a Descendant, that will probably drive motivation. But if players coming in through a preset like this, they get mixed in with the veteran players, it could feel a bit mismatched. So how will matchmaking and rewards work out?
네, 그 부분을 고려해서
Right, taking that into account, we separated matchmaking based on RK activity.
고레벨 분들이
We divided the mode into lower level and higher level brackets so that higher level players don't necessarily have to play with those who are just getting started through rotation build and are not yet familiar with the game.
네, 그리고 추가로 보상도 말씀드리면
Additionally, I think it would be good to talk about rewards. In trial mode, players will be able to target farm the transcendent weapons we introduced earlier. You can also earn merit tokens, which can be redeemed for various items at the merit exchange.
To summarize, trials are where both enemies and players get endlessly stronger as players enjoy peak power fantasy. It covers a wide range from new and returning players to veteran players as well, and is a core piece of Season 4 content. Players can farm transcendent weapons and merit tokens as well, so trials will arrive on August 20th alongside the start of Season 4. All right, now the Descendant many of our Descendants have been waiting for as well. Ultimate Haley is finally joining us. I'm sure fans of Haley have probably waited a long time. And yeah, the Ultimate version also opens with that back-facing shot. I still can't forget what that scene from the trailer where Haley casually dusted off her
ตัวดำมา
outfit.
เชียวแฮร์รี่
And I think a lot of you will be curious about how skills are enhanced for Ultimate Haley.
네, 많은 분들이 얼티밋 헤일리
Yes, many players have been waiting for Ultimate Haley for a very long time. she was one of the most frequently brought up topics. Even before we started the live stream, people were chatting about Ultimate Haley in the chat box.
헤일리가 9월에
Now, Ultimate Haley will launch in September,
를 좋아해 주시는 많은 계승자
and we're working hard to make sure this feels like a meaningful thank you to everyone who has supported and loved Haley.
두 개의 새로운
2 new ultimate skill modules will be added, and these 2 models offer completely different ways to develop your build. The first module simplifies controls while offering a build specialized in wiping out multiple enemies. In other words, it'll be more convenient and better suited for AoE damage. The second module really brings out Haley's identity. It is being developed as a build that fires the most powerful shot from maximum range,
네, 그런 계승자로 만들려
piercing through every target.
Okay, so one of them is for sweeping everything like easily, and the other is piercing through like everything in one shot from afar. So Haley is a sniper, so that second module really seems to match her well.
네, 두 모듈로 플레이
That's right. These 2 models will allow Descendants to take completely different playstyles, so you'll be able to choose and enjoy them depending on your preference and content you're playing.
저격수라는 또
And since Haley is our sniper,
그 부분이 잘 드러나도록 준비하고
we developed her in a way that really shows her strong point.
So detailed skill mechanics and visuals will be shown on our September Dev Live. And the other one will be the ultimate
Yeah.
exclusive premium
18 นี้
skin,
ไม่เห็น
right?
นะครับ18 นี้ไม่เห็นนะครับไม่เห็นแฮร์รี่นะครับ
네,
แต่น่าจะพูดถึงแล้ว
Yes.
얼티밋 헤일리의 프리미엄
This is Ultimate Haley's premium skin.
저희들은 이제 스튜디오
As you can see on the screen,
เฮียน่ารักว่ะเฮล
we
ลี่
are seeing her through a
น่ารัก
large
มากเลย
screen in the studio, and she has this really strong look.
말 그대로 박력 넘친다. 네.
She seems like a tough girl.
트레일러에서 등장할 때
And as many of you are familiar with, when she first appeared in our trailer, she reveals herself by taking off her hood in a snowy field. So with that in mind, you could say this premium skin is designed around bringing that hood concept back. There are plenty of other design details other than her hood that we put a lot of thought into. But I think Descendants who are joining us right now will know where we put a lot of thought into, so I'll just put it at that.
Yeah, great. So excitement for Ultimate Haley is quite high. And Haley isn't coming alone in September. She is arriving with new content.
네, 9월에는 신규 콘텐츠
Right, in September, new content titled Cradle of Evolution will also be updated. Cradle of Evolution is a new type of dungeon where the task sequence changes every time you play. It's designed as a higher difficulty dungeon compared to the Axion infiltration operation, so it will serve as a new farming location for advanced players.
So out of September's Cradle of Evolution and November's Genesis Sanctuary from the roadmap, the one arriving with Ultimate Haley is September's Cradle of Evolution.
네, 맞습니다.
That is correct. Cradle of Evolution is the dungeon being updated in September together with Ultimate Haley, and in November, players can look forward to another new dungeon, Henosis Sanctuary. You can think of both dungeons as higher tier dungeons above the Axion infiltration operation.
Then could you share the exact release date for Ultimate Haley?
네, 아까 로드맵 화면에서
Of course, as we saw on our roadmap, her release date is September 17th.
Great. So Ultimate Haley comes out on September 17th. She arrives with 2 new ultimate skill modules, an AoE specialized setup and a longest range piercing single shot setup as well. The new dungeon, Cradle of Evolution, also arrives in September. So lots of content to enjoy in September. And all right, the last content of today's lineup. This is a brand new play experience for the First Descendant, Colosseum A, and a truly unique type of game mode. The name itself is a bit mysterious. Director, what kind of content is Colosseum A and how do we play it?
네, 콜로세움 A.
Well, Colosseum A is a mysterious combat training simulation discovered in an ancestor's relic. Even the premise is quite unique. At its core, it's a 3x3 match. Descendants are split into 2 teams and carry out missions. Each team engages the Volgas inside the simulation while aiming to secure victory for their side. So far, the basic structure is PvE-based competition.
So 2 factions are competing while each are fighting off the Volgas. The name Colosseum had me expecting some kind of competitive content, but I guess that's not all.
네, 핵심은 이 부분이죠.
But here's where it gets interesting. In the simulation, there is a feature that allows a descendant to become a giant colossus and invade the opposing team's base. Once you become a colossus, you can disrupt the opposing side or attack other players. So while it is a PvE fight, an asymmetric element is added the moment a player becomes a colossus and invades the opposing side. We call this a PvE-based asymmetric PvEVP content.
Oh, PvEVP. So normally each side is fighting the Volgas, but then someone becomes this giant colossus and barges into the other faction. Just imagining it sounds pretty intense. Honestly, this is the first time we've had this kind of gameplay in TFD, right?
네, 지금
That is absolutely correct. As you can see on the screen,
거신이 되었다는 거죠.
this is where a player becomes a colossus.
That's a player.
네,
Yeah.
네, 그동안
그런 거였어요?
네, 네, 저렇게 이제
Oh, I didn't know. So that's what you're supposed to look like as a colossus. I didn't know that, but hearing this again, it's surprising. It's very new.
그동안 퍼디에서 경험할 수 없었던
Now, this is a completely new gameplay experience that players have not been able to experience in TFD before. And this is not simply just a new mode. In terms of the story, it carries significance as well. It serves as an important clue in uncovering the secrets of the ancestors.
Interesting gameplay and a story hook as well. Can we look forward to more updates for this?
네. 뭐 오늘 얘기 드릴 예정이었던 내용은 아닌데요.
Right. I wasn't going to mention this precisely today, but we had a very large goal, and this is a new mode.
말씀하신 것처럼
It's very aspiring, and like you mentioned, it's
แต่ว่าไม่
a new
ขาย
type
ไง
of play that's first
ใช่ใบนั้นปะ
introduced to
ที่บอกอะ
TFD, and we really put a lot of thought into how we can give more exciting gameplay to our descendants. And Colosseum A is going to be expanded to a whole new way moving forward.
보니까 다른 세계
Since the basic premise itself is a simulation,
설정
it provides an environment where other worlds can be brought in as simulations. Personally, I think it would be well suited for collaborations.
발언이 많이 나가긴 했습니다만
I did say a lot, but and because it has this asymmetric PvEVP structure, I also think it could be quite fun when combined with other IPs. So I have high hopes.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about it is quite exciting. Then when will Colosseum A be updated?
네, 콜로세움 A
Colosseum A is scheduled to be updated in December 2026. We are putting a lot of work into it.
Great Colosseum A is TFD's first asymmetric PvEVP content, where 2 factions fight the Volgas, then become Colossus and invade the opposing faction. It's both a clue to the ancestors' secrets and content with broad expansion potential. Players will be able to play it in December 2026. All right, that covers the core content waiting for our players in
อ่ะ
season
ตั้ง
4.
ทำน้องแล้วโอ้โหคุณ
And
จะซื้อ
since
อย่างเดียว
we
เลย
just delivered
ฟาร์มเอาก็
tons
ได้
of content on
เกมมัน
season
ฟาร์มได้
4,
คุณ
let me also
No.
reveal the 3rd coupon, which is TFD Season 4. It includes gold, Kuiper shards, crystallization catalysts, and even a superconductive cooling unit. Remember, you can go to the coupon banner on the right side of the website, enter the coupon code and your member code to claim your rewards. celebrate our second anniversary, we prepared a whole lineup of events. We've packed in a lot, so let's take a look one by one. Director, could you walk us through the second anniversary event?
네, 그러니까 이벤트는
Yes, of course. So the main event kicks off today on July 2nd.
오늘 패치 후
After today's patch, the event will kick off.
그래서 7월 2일부터 시작되는 이벤트들의 일정이고요.
So this is our timeline for the events kicking off today, starting with the second anniversary challenges. BB on Sites Run will run for about 2 weeks.
2주년 토큰 상점과 출석
And the second anniversary
ตรงนี้ข้ามได้
네,
and for
다
this may
ผ่านมาหมดแล้วตรงนี้
토큰
and dependent make the highlight save a massive 50% boost in select content as
양을 키웠습니다.
and which are 200
하셔서
more cleaned.
All of them. Thank you to everyone who sent in such a voting.
It can look and
กินคอนเทนต์ก็ผ่านแล้ว
Be sure to
로 바꿔주세요.
as please start with you.
소식을
It is big. Then it has a card weapon part.
하시는 거
Plated.
지를
You can see the Scale Ultimate Bunny. You can see it from in the middle. It looks so fancy.
소장
So holy really
wish all
at till August 31st. And the
seeing me as more. So please look forward to the also
it feels so great to
so figures. Let's also earn reward. Sir,
วิดดอบผ่านแล้ว
players can
and smile neon green if you're watching and start boot
in.
맞습니다. 커지는
include
I've been I watch
기간은
don't mess
drops the free take grab a twin top.
เนี่ยที่เหลือมันก็คุยกับพวกไอ้นั่นแล้วป่ะไม่มีอะไรแล้วป่ะ ที่เหลือมันคุยกับพวกสตรีมเมอร์แล้วป่ะโอ้โหใช่เลยใช่เลยพี่ โอเคไม่น่ามีอะไรละไม่น่ามีอะไรพลาดละเดี๋ยวไปเล่นเกมต่อดีกว่าเอาเกมก่อนเอาเกมสรุปก็คือไอ้เหี้ยอาวุธใหม่มันหาได้เกือบทุกที่นะตั้งแต่พวกโอ้ยเหี้ยผมว่าพอเผื่อด้าน400แม่งก็มีดอกโอเคเดี๋ยวผมขอเคลียร์ห้องก่อนแป๊บนึงเคลียร์ห้องก่อนแป๊บนึง มาละป่ะกล้องมึงซูมปะเนี่ยเฮ้ยไม่ซูมDPAฟังเพลงรูน่าฟาร์มทั้งวันแม่งมีเป็นเพลย์ลิสต์เลยถ้าจะไม่ผิดเฮียกดลงทุนเดี๋ยวนะวันนี้ก็คืออาทิตย์หน้าเลยนี่หว่าแล้ว13นี้มีอะไรปะวะมีอะไรอัปเดตปะวะมีอะไรอิมพูปะวะน่าจะมีแล้วมั้งอะไรอิมพูแม่งไม่ชอบไม่เตะออกจากเซิร์ฟอย่างเงี้ยดิลาวีด
Now what do you want? Go on, I'm waiting.
196นี่ไม่น่ามีอะไรแล้วปะนี่เหรออ่ะเอาไว้หน่อยก็ได้กัดคางกูยุงไปออนสล็อตกันดีกว่าไอ้นี่ไม่วิ่งแล้ววอยรูชันเปิร์กอ๋อจะมีคนเล่นปะวะหรือมันบ้าเหอะกันช่วงแรกๆวะน่าจะมีคนเล่นอยู่ละมั้งไอ้เหี้ยมันฟาร์มสนุกแล้วอ่ะมันฟาร์มได้เรื่อยๆแล้วอ่ะ
Descendant, the energy concentration point is unstable. Protect the objective from all threats. You can configure arcade parameters based on analysis of combat data. Initiating energy concentration point stabilization operation. Prevent enemy infiltration at all
ไอ้เหี้ย
costs.
ว้าวไฮโวเทคมาไอ้สกิลปิดมิวยิบตายแล้ว
You need to interact
เพื่อน
with
ช่วย
the
ด้วย
target device. Approach and engage with it within the time limit.
เพื่อนๆช่วยด้วยไอ้สัตว์ตลกสัตว์เตะไม่โดน
Key target located. Neutralize it within the time limit quietly to avoid alerting enemy.
แต่กูแบบค่อยๆฆ่าไอ้เหี้ยเพื่อนแบบไอ้เหี้ยมึงทำอะไรของมึงนะกูค่อยๆฆ่าไอ้ดาเมจก็ไม่แรงไม่มีเหี้ยอะไรเลยกูเล่นตัวเองวะกูลืมดูบิวยังกูลืมไปเลยว่ากูไปเล่นด่านนั่นมาครับค่อยๆฆ่าครับ
Zone stabilization confirmed. Descendant! Unstable energy source detected. Transmitting target coordinates to your receive. Descendant, the enemy offensive is weakening. Time to utilize your tactical options.
Hey, am I shorting out already?
Enemy reinforcements detected, Descendant. Hold the line. Destruction target confirmed ahead. Descendant, destroy the structure completely within the time limit. Enemy reinforcements detected, Descendant. Hold the line. Key target located. Neutralize it within the time limit quietly to avoid alerting the enemy. Zone stabilization confirmed. Descendant! Unstable energy source detected. Transmitting target coordinates to your receive. Descendant, the enemy offensive is weakening. Time to utilize your tactical options. Enemy reinforcements detected, Descendant. Hold the line. Key target located. Neutralize it with Descendant. time to deploy is an
Yeah,
emergency
now I'll
launch
be
device
back.
from HQ. I know it will help. Descendant, you need to interact with the target device. Approach and engage with it within the time limit.
กลับไปแก้บิวอายเขาไอ้เหี้ยคิดแม่เล่นสายสกิลไม่พอ พี่ยังเอาไฮโวเทคไปช็อตมอนอีก โมง53ได้อยู่แหละ5 นาทีจบ
Descendant, the energy concentration point is unstable. Protect the objective from all threats. You can configure RK parameters based on analysis of combat data. Initiating energy concentration point stabilization operation. Prevent enemy infiltration at all costs. Descendant, you need to interact with the target device. Approach and engage with it within the time limit. Descendant, the acceptable energy threshold range has been exhausted. Be careful. Key target located. Neutralize it within the time limit quietly to avoid alerting enemy. Zone stabilization confirmed. Descendant! Unstable energy source detected. Transmitting target coordinates to your receive. Descendant, the enemy offensive is weakening. Time to utilize your tactical options. Enemy reinforcements detected, Descendant. Hold the line. Destruction target confirmed ahead. Descendant, destroy the structure completely within the time limit. Enemy reinforcements detected, Descendant. Hold the line. Key target located. Neutralize it within the time limit quietly to avoid alerting enemy. Zone stabilization confirmed. Descendant! Unstable energy source detected. Transmitting target coordinates to your receive. Descendant, the enemy offensive is weakening. Time to utilize your tactical options. Enemy reinforcements detected, Descendant. Hold the line. Key target located. Neutralize it within the time limit quietly to avoid alerting enemy. Descendant, you need to interact with the target device. Approach and engage with it within the time limit.
ดี๋ยวมาแป๊บ
Descendant, the energy concentration point is unstable. Protect the objective from all threats. You can configure RK parameters based on analysis of combat data. Initiating energy concentration point stabilization operation. Prevent enemy infiltration at all costs. Descendant, you need to interact with the target device. Approach and engage with it within the time limit. Neutralize it within the time limit quietly to avoid alerting enemies. Be careful. Zone stabilization confirmed. Descendant! Unstable energy source detected. Transmitting target coordinates to your receive. Descendant, the enemy offensive is weakening. Time to utilize your tactical options. Enemy reinforcements detected, Descendant. Hold the line. Destruction target confirmed ahead. Descendant, destroy the structure completely within the time limit. Descendant. Hold the line. Key target located. Neutralize it within the time limit quietly to avoid alerting enemies. Zone stabilization confirmed. Descendant! Unstable energy source detected. Transmitting target coordinates to your receive. Descendant, the enemy offensive is weakening. Time to utilize your tactical options. Enemy reinforcements detected, Descendant. Hold the line. Key target located. Neutralize it within the time limit quietly to avoid alerting enemies. interact with the target device. Approach and engage with it within the time limit.
เดี๋ยววันนี้ดึกแล้วไปก่อนนะครับ เจอกันแล้วกูขึ้นเดี๋ยวมาแป๊บแบบไม่เลิก